Hello, this is Jake with the Ugly Bug Fly Shop, and today we're going to be working with a dubbing spinner and dubbing loops. We'll be using the Hairline dubbing spinner. This is kind of the deluxe set that carries several different attachments for different styles of dubbing loops. So we will start. As you can see, I already have my thread established here. I generally like to use anywhere from a 140 to a 70 UTC thread for the dubbing. And this is kind of a nice feature that allows you to build bodies, whether it be for leeches or streamers or anything else, but a quick way to have a lot of bulk in not a lot of time. So how we're going to do this is we're going to basically take our thread and double over itself. And what we're going to do is wrap back on top of the thread, and then once we have done that, to take the thread about 3 times around that to kind of lock that dubbing loop in place. After I've done that, I will move my thread towards the eye of the hook to kind of get it out of the way, so that way we can create our dubbing loop. This dubbing loop works really well with really coarse dubbing, kind of like the ice dub and stuff like that is where I really like to use it, where it's kind of hard just to dub on by hand. So what you'll want to do is to grab your desired amount of dubbing, depending on how big your fly is and how much bulk you want to add to your fly will determine this. So I will pull my dubbing out, kind of get it all situated to where it's all in order and not too clumpy, so that way when I place it in the dubbing loop it'll spin properly. So what I'll do now is take this and gently put it in the dubbing loop, trying to center that dubbing as close as I can, so that way I have equal amounts on both sides of the loop. If you have a little bit. Okay, so now we have our dubbing placed in our dubbing loop. And again, you can kind of add and take away as you see fit to match the hook. Here I'm trying to match up the length so that way I'll have just enough and not too much. So here I'll center it up, and I'm going to take my dubbing tool and I'm going to set the thread in there and release my finger there. And what you'll want to do is kind of spin this. It sits on a ball bearing setup here, so it allows it to spin easily and to create your dubbing loop. So here I kind of straighten it out, and I will keep spinning until I achieve my desired dub, whether it be a really tight dub or a loose dub. It's kind of nice that you can kind of gauge it to see how you want to do it. From here I can kind of adjust how much dubbing I actually have in the loop. Like this one, I might have added a little too much at the bottom, so I can kind of pick a little bit of that out and kind of fine tune to really get an effective dub there. So now that we have that set, what we will do is wrap this on the hook. Oops. Slowly just moving it forward. Wrapping it forward till we reach our desired stopping point, and what we'll do is tie that off with just a couple securing wraps there. And then what we can do is trim off our excess thread. Now at this point you can continue on with your pattern, or what some people like to do is to kind of tease this dub out depending on what you're wanting to achieve. So several different options, and completely whatever you would like to do, it's at your discretion there. So that is a dubbing loop.